Right, enough of this transfer talk. It's back to the football. And there's an extra dollop of good news, as we do have Bruno in the middle, so he might not know what we need this weekend at Crystal Palace. The match preview's coming up, so stick around. Welcome back to Black and White Banter, you lovely, lovely Newcastle fans. I'm saying welcome back. If this is new, if this face is new, firstly I apologise for it. But if you've never stumbled across this particular Newcastle fan channel before, do us a favour before you do anything else. Give us one of these. Goes a very long way. It takes you just a couple of seconds of your time. It's nice to be nice. And if you do like this opinion, by the end of the video, be sure to hit that subscribe, because there's match vlogs coming up. Crystal Palace match vlogs, Southampton match vlogs, and everything in between. So you won't miss those videos. Get Black and White Banter across all social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and Twitter, where we try and make Newcastle fans laugh at whatever news is going on at the time, and a little bit more. So make sure you check that out as well. So as I said at the start of this video, the transfer news can just get shelved for a couple of days. The rumour mill's in full circle. Strikers coming in, strikers going out, midfielders coming in, midfielders going out. Nothing's really concrete, apart from obviously Chris Wood that we've talked about on an earlier video, if you just go down and watch my opinions on that one after this. So it's back to the football, and I'm happy for it, because all you are reading is that transfer news. So I think it's a big one. If you look at the league table, after Tottenham capitulated at Man City on Thursday night, 2-0 up at half-time to throw that lead away, we could potentially be 8 points better off from that 5th spot if we get a win at Crystal Palace. You can say what you want about the games we've got coming up. Yes, that cup game on Tuesday is huge. Like one of the biggest away games I will have gone to in my lifetime, of course. But it's one game at a time, and that league position, staying healthy in that top 4 is still very, very important. And this is a winnable game for me. I'm going down there, and I am going down. As I said, there'll be a match vlog to follow down in London. I am going down there very, very confident. Very, very confident indeed. And I'm going to sound like the biggest stuck record on the planet. I think I do with a lot of statements I make. The reason that is because we currently have, in my opinion, one of the best defences in all of Europe. You go to an away game with a bit of a hostile atmosphere. Selhurst Park can get a bit hostile if things are on the up for them. And they have something to shout about in that little cosy stadium that it is. When you've got a defence like we do, you go away from home so confident. And in Mr. Trips, Mr. Botman, Mr. Share, Mr. Byrne, and of course Mr. Popey, I have full faith that we can keep yet another clean sheet. I don't even know the last time I'm starting to get to the point where I don't know the last time Newcastle even conceded a goal. I think I was in nappies. I don't even think I was into football. I don't think I was old enough to know about football. It feels that long since Newcastle United conceded a Premier League goal. Pope may as well bring his books and his pencils and his crayons and whatever along. That's how good things are at the moment. And that's why, because of that foundation that we're built on at the moment, yes, we miss chances at the other end. We're not quite clinical enough yet in maybe our squad quality. Although very good still, we do miss a lot of chances, and think how much higher up in the league we would be if we took them in games that we've drawn, mainly at St James's Park. But I think we've got enough in the tank to see off Crystal Palace. I really do. Yes, I'm giving that the Billy Big Bollocks, Mr. Overconfident. I might not be saying that in 24 hours' time, of course not, but I am. And Crystal Palace, it's fair to say, this season have been very indifferent. I think their fans, as far as I understand, are still very patient with Vieira. Vieira. They know it's a process, very similar to maybe like the likes of Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. He probably seems to have good ideas. I think he's won them over to a degree, but I think Crystal Palace are very much a counter-attacking football team. They set up that way with the likes of Eze, Zaha, and I think we will have most of the ball. I think Crystal Palace might even be happy for us to have a lot of the ball. Vieira will know exactly how we play. He's already played us once this season when we should have beat them at St James's. Less said about that VAR decision back then, the better. And they will probably soak up that possession as best they can and try and hit us on some sort of a counter. I do think they are still dangerous. As much as we've had Zaha in our back pockets in previous matches over the years, whether it's been Manquillo, Trippier, Kraft, I think might even springs to mind maybe in one game, maybe last year's, but they still pose a threat. I thought they were okay against Man United in midweek when they nicked a point in injury time, but not great. But I still fancy us as the favourites. Why wouldn't I? Unbeaten in so many matches, buoyed from that game against Fulham. We've had a full week to prepare for this one. Isak's chomping to get off the bench. Maximin's barely seen any real game time. And the biggest news, as I mentioned at the start of this video, and this is the reason I've had to redo this video, by the way, Newcastle fans. Not that I'm looking for sympathy on that little violin, but if you are going to whack that like, it would go a long way, because I've done this twice now, is because Bruno, the magic man in midfield with his magic hat, has miraculously recovered from that ankle injury on Sunday. So I spent most of the previous recording talking about who I would replace Bruno with in midfield. Now it looks like Bruno has run after the boys getting on the aeroplane to London, and he is in the squad. Amazing news. To me, it says a lot about his character. Yes, he's obviously healed quickly, but he will have been determined to heal quickly. He's not the sort of player like sitting on the bench. He's not the sort of player like watching from home with his missus on the sofa. He wants to be a part of what's going on right now. It's huge for Saturday. It's huge for Tuesday's semi-final first leg. And it's brilliant news. So if, hypothetically, Bruno is fit, I wouldn't make any changes. I wouldn't. I would still keep Isak as that impact substitution. Give him maybe half an hour. Stick him up there with Wilson again. They seem to do okay in that short spell against Fulham on Sunday. You've got Maximin. I wouldn't be looking to start him. Everyone who watches my videos knows my opinions, particularly on St. Maximin away from home. Nathaniel Klein likes to attack from right back. He'll be supporting his winger for Crystal Palace. Maximin, I do not trust defensively away from home as far as I can chuck him. He's still capable of doing things not a lot are, sorry. But no, not for me. Not for me away from home in a game where we can cement that place in the top four. So keep the team unchanged. Keep it the same as Fulham. And let's see what the boys can do. And Eddie Howe now has options if things aren't working. And Isak, you can tell, he's not here to be a substitute. We don't pay £58 million for a striker to just be an impact substitution forever. And he looks that way when he comes on. I was impressed with him on Sunday, so he's there on the bench. All of the ball, I think a place like Selhurst Park, the view's going to be terrible for me tomorrow. It's not the nicest stadium for away fans. But I think the first 20 minutes, as they always are in away games, particularly one that's on the telly, I don't know why that makes a difference, but it sometimes does to the intensity of the match. I think the players know that they're being watched by a lot more people. First 20 minutes are important. Hold the ball, get at them. They'll probably happily sit in and try and hit us on that counter I mentioned, but make that first 20 minutes of the match count. Get the Geordies in the corner singing, get the Cockneys quiet, and I hope, by the way, those Cockneys have brought the ridiculous banners along with the blood money, the sports washing, the murders, whatever they did last season. Bring that along again. We are starting to enjoy being hated. We don't care. Bit of it's jealousy. You know, I'm sure they haven't had the same banners for the likes of Sheffield United and other clubs owned by these kind of countries. Whatever. Feel free to bring those along, Crystal Palace fans, if you're watching this video. But I fancy us. I do. And I do think that first half is going to be important, that first 20 minutes, as it always is in away games, in stamping your authority on, silencing the crowd, and going from there. If we are clinical in the final third, I always back Newcastle this season, because defensively we are so good. So I'm going to go for a tight one. I'm going to go for 2-0, maybe 1-0 until the last couple of minutes. Crystal Palace are chucking the kitchen sink at us, and then we maybe get another one. Now, that's a very precise prediction, but that's what I'm going to go for. Very similar to the game down there during COVID times when we won 2-0. I'll go for the same kind of outcome. We just need to find our shooting boots, and I'll back us. Crystal Palace will cause us a few problems, but Mr. Botman and Shea will lap that up. I've got no doubts about it. Newcastle fans, please let me know your thoughts in the comments on this game. We don't need to talk necessarily about a replacement for Bruno if he's able to start, which I'm reading he's almost fully fit, so he might go straight back into the team. Let us know if you're going down to the match. Let us know how important you think this game is, or should Eddie Howe be focusing more on the semi-final on Tuesday? There's an argument there. We haven't seen a cup final since the 90s. There is an argument there. I just think we have enough in the squad to go after both matches with a little break between, with a 3-day break. If you've stuck around this long as well, Newcastle fans, please give us one of them. As I've already said, goes a very, very long way. I want to be in that algorithm being seen by more Newcastle fans. It makes all the video editing a little bit more worth it. I will be doing a match vlog. I will be on the party bus from 8 o'clock in the morning with me sandwiches and me beers and whatnot, going down to Crystal Palace to catch all the action. So you don't want to miss that match vlog. Plenty boozy fans, plenty boozy opinions, plenty action inside the stadium, and of course some full-time thoughts. So subscribe now and you'll see that video, and I'll see you hopefully on the next video, which will be a very, very happy, smiley face of mine. 3 points better off, looking like Champions League looks that little bit closer. Fingers crossed, Newcastle fans. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you on the next one. However, lads.